Husky, owner of Fitworkz, author of the books Eat by Color and Get Fit and Live Healthy. Yesterday, we shot a video, pushed it out live on Periscope over to our Twitter feed, and shot it over to our Facebook channels or pages, talking about wraps and cleanses, some of the big fads in the health, wellness, weight loss industry today. We got an awesome question back from somebody on Facebook. Molly had asked, well, what about cellulite? Cellulite, you hear a lot of the same stuff. You know, do a wrap, try a cream, try massage, try this. Does it work? If any of those things do work for cellulite, it's going to be short-lived. So just like the wrap, you're going to see usually short-term a reduction in the amount of water or fluid in that area, and the cellulite's still going to be there. And what's happening is the cellulite is basically fat pushing on what they believe is connective tissue, and it gives you that dimpled appearance, or what probably the best description I heard from one of our members here at Fitworkz, our club, was it looks like hail damage. How do I get rid of my hail damage? So most of the things that are marketed for cellulite aren't going to work for the same reason the wraps don't work. So what does work? One, you got to get your nutrition in order. Everything's going to come back to nutrition. Health, wellness, weight loss, long-term weight maintenance. Nutrition's king when we look at all four of those things. You got to get your food right. Eat by Color is a really simple way to do that. And then you got to train. When we look at training, if you are predisposed, and many women are, to carrying fat in their lower half of their body, and you do have that hail damage appearance, or that dimpled appearance, you have to train legs. And this is probably going to be one of the odd instances where we're going to recommend a higher volume of training for the legs. So more sets, more reps, lighter weight. So maybe something in the 12 to 20 repetition range, and training more often. And we'll want to stick to the big lifts, so squats, deadlifts, the hinge movements like the good morning or the stiff leg or Romanian deadlift, lunges, split squats. Probably the most effective glute exercise, the hip thruster. If you don't know what that is, check out our YouTube channel. We've got a couple instructional videos on hip thrusters. So you got to make sure your training's right. Stick to the complex multi-joint movements, higher reps, 12 to 20 reps, more sets, and train legs more than one day a week. Combine that with intelligent nutrition, something like Eat by Color, and then maybe, we're not big fans of cardio, 18 or 80, we've helped people lose pounds and inches. Yesterday I was talking to a young lady. We had a girl come in here for 6 months on her own, averaged 10 hours a week. She lost 4 pounds. In 6 months, 3 hours a week of Eat by Color and the right training, she lost about 70 pounds. So you don't need all that cardio. If you are going to do it, do intervals. So make it real simple. Walk for a minute, jog for a minute, run for a minute. In other words, work as hard as if you're walking for a minute, work as hard as if you're jogging for a minute, work as hard as if you're running for a minute. Repeat that 6 times. It'll take you 18 minutes. Call it a great workout. So cellulite, again, it's fat, normal fat cells pushing on connective tissue. Women are more likely than men to have it, although some dudes do have it as well. Best way to get rid of it, nutrition and training. Next question we had was, Tim, what was the next one?
Low-calorie diets.
Low-calorie diets. This is something that just will not die, and I don't know if you can see this in this picture, but I used to fit in these pants, okay? I was 230-some pounds. Today I'm 170. I've maintained that weight loss for almost 20 years now, so I know what I'm talking about. And along the way, getting to where I am today, I made a lot of mistakes. One of those mistakes was lowering calories, lower and lower and lower and lower and lower. And we still see people struggling, frustrated today, trying to lose pounds and inches by starving themselves. Human body doesn't work that way. If you keep lowering calories, your body is going to think it's starving, and it's going to retard or slow down your metabolism. The exact opposite of what you want to do. So especially for women, because women tend to do two things. Starve themselves, eat very little calories, like 500 calorie a day diets, and do tons of cardio. If you want to end up a smaller, fatter version of yourself, starve yourself and do lots of cardio. It does not work. If you want that toned, sculpted, leaned, lifted, tightened, whatever appearance, You got to eat, you got to weight train, and maybe do a little bit of cardio. And if you are going to do cardio, it has to be intervals. Okay, so the low calorie diets don't work. I've tried them. All it does is frustrate. All it does is eventually lead to grossly going overboard and overeating. And many times you can eat what you were eating in, say, last month and losing weight. This month, because you've retarded your metabolism, you're going to eat the same amount. You're going to see the weight come back on or go up. So again, cutting calories crazy low doesn't work. It just doesn't. And if anybody out there watching this, if you're tuned in and you've got questions, by all means, go ahead and ask. And we're happy to answer, happy to expand on that. But you definitely don't need to cut your calories. Most of the time, if you go below 1,000 calories, the body thinks it's starving. So if you're eating 400, 500, 600 calories, if you're doing one of those knucklehead diets where it's 600 calories a day only from protein, well, first of all, you're not going to be able to do it for forever. So any weight you lose, when you go back to normal life, it's going to come right back. Second of all, you're setting yourself up for failure because the body's going to slow things down. Another question that came up today in our club was, what about meal frequency? I hear all the time I need to eat 6 small meals a day, and that's better for weight loss and yada, 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 yada. Again, if you're going to be successful, you want to be successful long term. What you don't want is a diet. You don't want to lose the weight over the next 3 months only to put it back on 6 months from now. So you need a long-term approach. Let's say you have a lab job where you can't eat at work. It's going to be really hard to eat 6 times a day. Maybe you work in corrections or the prison system. We've had a number of clients, ironically, that have worked in jails. Some of them at federal corrections facilities, they can't bring food in. So they can only eat. It's realistic they can eat 3, maybe 4 times a day on the days they work. Telling them that they have to eat 6 times a day means they're not going to be able to do it. And they're going to fail. And what I like to say is people only play a game they can't win for so long before they quit. Nobody likes to do something they can't win at. Nobody likes to do something they can't be successful at. So yes, it may be true that theoretically it's better to eat 6 meals a day, but if your schedule just doesn't allow that, quit trying. Don't try and force your family schedule, your work schedule to fit around your eating because it will be very short-lived. So again, what's more important is making the right food choices, eat by color, and if it's only going to be 3 or 4 meals a day, so be it. You're off to a great start. If you've got a really flexible schedule, a very allowing schedule, try and get the 4 to 6 meals a day. But again, if it's just not possible because of where you work or what your job is, then don't stress over it. Eat 3 or 4 times a day and call it good enough. That's it. Anybody?